Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now, in today's episode, I thought I would give you 5 tips to improve your bench press if you're struggling right now. Now, the bench press is a compound movement where you lay down on a bench, you take a barbell with weights on the end out of the rack with your arms, and then you bring it down to your chest, and then you reverse the motion and press it out to lock out, and then you place it back onto the rack, unless you're doing it for reps. Then you'll just keep going until you're done and reach your desired number, and then you'll put it back on the rack. It seems very simple. However, the bench press is actually pretty complicated. It's a very technical movement, and because you're laying down on a bench, you can actually use things to your advantage that you may not know about. Since the bench press is commonly used with a barbell that weighs about 45 pounds with ends that rotate and have knurling, I'm going to be talking about that. I'm not going to be talking about any other implement out there like the multi-grip bar, football bars, axle bars. I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm going to talk about the standard barbell and how to improve your bench press if you're trying to get that number bigger, or just how to use it so you can get actually stronger and not hurt your shoulders, because people do the bench press wrong all the time. And it's a very unnatural movement if you do it wrong. You want to make it as naturally as possible so it'll carry over into your life and you won't be in pain all the time. So the first tip that I'm going to give you, and a lot of people don't know about, and once I recommend this and actually teach this to clients, their bench press skyrockets just off this little tip alone. And that is to use your legs. There's something in the bench press called leg drive. Now you're thinking, but it works your chest, doesn't it? Well, no, it doesn't. A bench press is actually a compound movement. And a compound movement actually means you're using your whole entire body to move the implement. So since the bench press with a barbell is a compound movement, we're not going to be isolating the chest. If you try to isolate the chest with a barbell, you're going to get a shoulder impingement or a pec rupture. The safest way, and which happens to be the strongest way to bench press, is to actually use your legs. And what you want to do is, whether you're flat-footed or you're up on your toes when you're on the bench press, is you want to get into a nice arch. That's number one. Then as you lower the bar down, you want to use your legs and kind of bring your feet down with it. Mainly your heels is what I mean by your feet. And then you want to wind yourself up like you're a spring. And once that bar touches your chest, then you want to reverse the motion by pressing your feet into the ground and trying to slide your body back off the bench. Since the barbell is going to be pinning you down to the bench, all that energy is going to go from the ground up through your body and through your arms and help you lift that barbell in a very fast and explosive movement. And you won't slide off the bench as a result. Now, this does take a lot of time and a lot of effort to learn how to do it. It can feel unnatural in the beginning. But trust me, once you learn it, you'll be surprised just how much your bench press goes up. Let's say that you're trying to get to 225 pounds and you're stuck at 185 pounds and you just can't keep going up, right? Sometimes just adding bench press, when I teach that to clients with the leg drive, it ends up going up to 225 really easy. And they're able to continue to put more weight on the bar because they're actually using their entire body, which is what the movement was designed to do since it's a compound movement, for the very first time. And so they're getting results for the very first time and performing the way that they should. So give that a try. Try doing leg drive if you're not already doing it. Now, another tip that I'm going to give you, which is the second tip, if you're already doing leg drive, this will really help as well. And it's going to be a surprise. It's actually to build your upper back more. Now, when you're pushing on a bench press, how many times do you work the antagonistic portion, which is the opposing motion with the same resistance? So let's say you do 225 pounds and you do that for 5 reps. Well, if you were to go to a cable machine and do some rows in that exact same plane of a movement with 225 pounds on the machine and you do it for 10, you'd be surprised actually how much your bench press would go up just by doing that exercise. Reason being is when you are lowering the bar down to your chest, you should be rowing it instead of letting it drop on your chest. Rowing it will make your back activate and will provide a platform for your bar to land on your chest. And then when you want to reverse the motion with the leg drive, it's got a very large platform and is very secure that will give it the spring it needs to pop back up off your chest and to get through the sticky point to lockout. Now, the ratio that was recommended by Julius Maddox, who is the bench press world record, is for every 1 bench press he does 2 repetitions with the same weight. So it's a 1-to-2 ratio. Every push you do, you should be doing 2 pulls and making it equivalent. That way you're nice and even. So give that a try. Building your back and using leg drive already might just get you the PRs that you were looking for to begin with. Now, the third tip I'm going to give you is to exercise your triceps and to build strong triceps. Now, the reason for this and the science behind it is once you're at the bottom of the lift and the bar is on your chest and you press midway through the movement before lockout is when your body's going to switch from chest to triceps. So a lot of people will get stuck in the middle of a bench press and it will go back down and they won't finish the lift, whether it's in the middle of the lift, through the middle of the lift, or at the top of the lift. And that's because their triceps are weak. Their triceps are unable to finish that motion. So if you work your triceps and you give your triceps a lot of strength, you'll be able to lock that movement out and you'll be able to finish the lift. So finishing the lift is all triceps. Getting it from the chest to the middle is all your chest. So you want to make sure that your triceps are strong. There's other tricep exercises out there that I'll do a different video about another day. But now my fourth tip that I'll give you is to do push-ups, but to do push-ups that work more on stability rather than to build the muscle. So what I mean by that is on top of doing the pec fly machine and push-ups and other things that are in the gym to help build your chest muscle, you want to focus on other aspects of that are going to give you the stability that you need. My favorite movement that I like to do and recommend actually is to do ring push-ups. Ring push-ups make it so that when you're doing a push-up, you're wobbling around a lot. So your chest has to work extra hard to stabilize your body through the movement. So when you do ring push-ups and you have to stabilize yourself, when you go to do a barbell, which is way more stable, then you're going to feel really secure because all the stabilizers are going to be firing. You don't have to do ring push-ups as well. You could do it on balls. You can do it on kettlebell handles where the kettlebells kind of wobble a little bit. So you can have many other options out there, but the main point is doing some type of movement that is going to mimic the bench press and work those stabilizers to the point that they're going to have to wake up and help you in the process. And that will carry over a lot into bench press. Now, the very last thing that I recommend is to do variation lifts of the bench press. My favorite one to do, and the one I'm going to recommend the most if you are going to do this, is to do the incline bench press with a barbell. You could do decline bench press, but honestly, you'll probably lift more weight with a decline bench press than you are with a standard flat bench press. Reason being, you're able to use a lot more momentum in your shoulders to help you with the lift. Although that overloads the movement and will help you with the bench press, sure. In my opinion, the incline bench press is a lot better because it's a semi-compound movement. You still have to use leg drive. You still have to do everything you would in a flat bench press. The only difference is it has to be a lot lighter of weight because you're more upright and you're just not going to be able to be in the most opportunistic position as you would be in a flat bench press. You're also hitting that upper chest a lot more as well versus a decline bench press works the bottom of your chest. But there you have it. When I've included the incline bench press, did ring push-ups, worked my triceps a lot, worked my back a lot, and practiced leg drive over and over and over again, my bench press went through the roof. And I have a pretty decent bench press, at least before my bicep surgery, which I'm trying to get back to right now. And the reason how I got there without using steroids or TRT or other things to help me other than over-the-counter products like creatine and BCAAs and whey protein is because I've done those 5 things and have learned how to use my body to help me do the bench press and not just rely on my chest. That's also kept me injury-free as well. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any other questions about other movements that you want to learn about, please feel free to DM me at WILDMAN Lifts on Instagram or leave a comment, and I'll be happy to reply to you. Thanks for joining me tonight, and I will now watch the sunset and continue to enjoy life. Thank you.